How's it going? Welcome back to the Bet Boost Brothers, our second video, and we're super excited about this one.
Yeah, we're today we it's Saturday morning. We've been able to scour the web, see what kind of boosts we were able to anticipate that came up and maybe some additional boosts, and we're going to dive into them here in the video. Again, if you like the video, please hit like, leave a comment, subscribe. We've already made a few tweaks to how we're going to run this one versus the last one, and we're always looking for feedback, so we're excited to dive into it.
Oh yeah, let's ride.
All right, so the first promo that we want to jump into is the what we anticipated, the same game parlay boost on Bet365. We got real lucky this week, and we got a 50% boost. I think we mentioned in the last video we were anticipating probably getting a 30% boost, but that there was the potential for a 50% boost. So that works out perfectly for what we have planned in our plus 100 playbook for today. We can talk about we'll show the bets here on the screen, but kind of what we're looking at for both games. I'm going to do one on one game. We'll do one on the other game, and we'll kind of write each other's bets a little bit as we as the day progresses. Um, Will, I don't know
Yeah,
if you have anything you want to add to that.
yeah. I mean, just touching on the fact that this is why we harp on so much about Bet365 because they offer these types of boosts and promotions. From what we see, I mean, apart from very rare promotion periods on other apps, this is as good as it gets in the world that we're living in. This is what makes our strategy whole. If we can find a plus 100 bet that's boosted 50%, I mean, obviously the sports books always give themselves an edge, but we're right on the line of plus and minus here. It is plus, so it is slightly in the sports book's favor, but we're going to get it at odds that, you're not going to find anywhere else. So, with all that being said, Mike, I can go ahead and hop into the plus 100 playbook play that I'm plugging in here, and
Yeah.
we can talk about it. Okay, so what you all recognize this bet we went over it in our last video. It's plus 100. It's the Commanders versus the Lions game. I did my no sweat bet on the Chiefs Texans game, so I wanted to do this bet on the other game. Jared Goff, one passing touchdown. I think that's a lock. Jaden Daniels, one passing touchdown. Not as much of a lock, but like we talk about, our strategy is to take passing touchdowns. If we can get the number of one, if we can get the number of one in the playoffs, we're going to go that route. And then Zach Ertz, three receptions. This is the riskiest part of the bet. I think he's his safety blanket. I think this can happen. He only had two in the last game, but he had 5 and 6 in the previous two games before that. He had 4 targets in the last game, so it's not that he's not looking towards him. I'm hoping whether it's garbage time or clutch plays that this will become whole. And then, like we talked about, if the opportunity comes up when we get closer to game day to shave some of this stuff off and get closer to plus 100, we'll do that. And that's exactly what happened here in our Thursday video. We had it at the lines minus 2.5, and I was able to shave that down to lines minus 1.5 and still be a plus 100. So this is the play. I'm doing a $15 wager. That's usually about as big as I'll go here, and that's because this is the best promotion that we anticipate being available this weekend. So let's ride.
Yeah, and just to kind of to circle back to the strategy, you'll see across all of the sites plus 20%, plus 30%, plus 50%. But what makes Bet365 different is that plus 100 threshold and that no leg minimum or threshold. So you can have those minus 1000 legs factored in to get to plus 100. So they really give you the most flexibility to put a lower risk wager to get that big boost added to it. So for my bet, I went really similar to what we talked about on Thursday. We talked about the touchdowns. I have one touchdown for Stroud. We have two touchdowns for Mahomes, so that's the riskiest leg of the parlay. I believe on its own, it's minus 170. And then we have three receptions. So instead of 40 yards, we were able to shave it down to three receptions for Nico Collins, and that gets us right to that plus 100 as of recording. Um, you may have to play around with receptions and yards slightly to, if depending on how the odds may shift before kickoff, but that was able to get us right to that plus 100, which we were able to boost obviously and lock that in for the same potential return as well. We got plus 100 exactly for both of these bets. Feeling good about it, and hopefully that gets our week started off well. $15 as well is what I locked in.
Yep. No, I like that, Mike. And we talked about it a bit before. The 40 yards is still the option. It's still an option there for Nico Collins if you all prefer that. We saw that plus, 3+ receptions was now in play for plus 100, and we figured that more likely than 40 yards. But I mean, if we're being honest here, both of those legs are locks. Nico Collins is going to be more like a 6-7 receptions in this game, but obviously we don't need to go that high to get to plus 100.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the things I like, and we'll talk about as we kind of go on, is to try and, when I can, take the result out of the play. So take the money lines away, take those small spreads, and just hope on performance. Because whether or not the Texans are losing big, winning, I don't know if they're going to win big, but even if they win big, or if it's a close game, I think those Nico Collins receptions are going to be in play. So hopefully that holds true. All right, so next we'll kind of move into some of the things that we saw pop up over the last few days and this morning, and how we want to kind of build those into our promo playbook, and hopefully jump on those with house money if those opportunities become available.
Yep, for sure. Should we dive into the next one? I've actually already locked this. Well, I haven't locked it in, but I'm ready to lock this one in. It's a live bet boost from Fanduel.
Mm-hmm.
So the next best promotion we've seen come up is the Fanduel live bet 30% boost. Now there's a bunch of 30s and 50s you'll see around other sites for sure today. But what makes this one playbook material is that it only has to be minus 200 odds. So most of these other boosts that you're going to see today are going to be plus 400, plus 300 at a minimum. And this one only requires minus 200 out of FanDuel. So super excited about this. Obviously, you can't lock it in until the game is live. There's different strategies here. Some people like to watch the first half, get a feel of how the teams are playing, and then do their live bet. The way I like to do it is just as soon as kickoff happens, just so that I can prep my bet in advance and just kind of lock it in as if it's not a live bet. Hopefully the odds don't shift too much. What do you think about that, Mike?
Yeah,
Is that the way you like the live bet?
That's my strategy. Now, just to be completely honest, unless there's a boost, I don't do a ton of live betting. I don't like how most of the sites, they really limit your ability to dive into those legs and kind of cap some of that flexibility. We like to go under the, whatever the over under projections are. Sometimes they just give you that. Sometimes they'll, if the game starts out, Nico Collins gets a catch, they may bump that up to the minimum you can give him is like 8 catches or something, because they're not sure if they're just going to be game script throwing it to him every time. And those are numbers that usually make me a little bit nervous. So I like to go early. The other way that you can live bet sometimes is if you say you really like the Chiefs, or like you have a feeling about the Lions, one of the favorites, and they go down early. That line may move close to plus, like you may be able to get the Chiefs or the Lions, maybe not since they're such big favorites, and maybe not plus money, but it may drastically reduce that money line minus number to something that you like, that you can factor that in to it as well. But so that's something I like. If the team I like goes down 3, goes down 7 early, and I still feel like they haven't really shown, hasn't been far enough into the game for them to really come back, sometimes I'll jump on that.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Well, I guess we can hop right into the bets that we're lining up for this opportunity as it comes. So I don't, to be honest, like Mike was saying, we don't do a whole lot of live betting. We do when boosts come up. I don't know if I've done a boosted live bet through FanDuel or not before, but here on the screen is, if it's allowed, this is the bet that I'm going to go with, and this trails Michael's bet that he just showed you all for that he's locked into the Bet 365 boost. It trails it and it shaves it off a bit to get it, at minus odds. So Mahomes, instead of 2 passing touchdowns, the one which we all consider a lock, knock on wood. CJ Stroud, 1 passing touchdown. I think it's likely. Wouldn't call that a lock, but I'll bet on it. And then Nico Collins, 40 yards. That's only because the 3 receptions wasn't available on FanDuel. The 3 receptions that Michael
Yeah.
locked in on Bet365. I think both of these I'm very comfortable with. 3 receptions, 40 yards. Nico Collins is going to be the big target, like we talked about, whether it's garbage time or whether it's a close game. So this came in at minus 142. I'm ready to lock and load this bet as soon as the game goes live. I so that's what I was talking about at the beginning. I don't know what sort of limitations FanDuel will put on a live bet. I don't know if they'll restrict it to just the over/under on passing touchdowns, or if they'll let me get the alternates in play. I'm hoping they let me get the alternates in play. If they don't, might have to reassess here. But this is what we're planning for on my end.
Yeah, and I'm kind of doing the exact same thing. I'm going to trail Will. We've got, but like I said, we're shaving a little bit off. We're taking a plus bet, and we're moving into the minuses. So I've got just 1 touchdown for Goff and Daniels, and then 2 receptions for Zach Ertz. So we shaved a reception off Ertz's bet for the plus 100, and we also took the result away. So there's no minus points for the Lions. There's no spread involved anymore. Now that, as of recording this video, is minus 197. So we're right at that threshold of the minus 200 for the bet. So there's every possibility that I may have to tweak that depending on what they take away at kickoff. This is the night game, so I anticipate things moving around a little bit, but we're still going to target those 3 props: the touchdowns, and then the receptions. If I need to go over 1.5 for Goff, take the touchdown away from Daniels and add in another reception for Ertz or something to make it work, or get the spread back involved, we'll play around with those legs a little bit if we have to. But this is what I'm hoping we can lock in.
No, it looks good. I bet it feels nice having Ertz at 2 receptions instead of 3.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound too nervous about it, but obviously that's probably the leg out of all my bets in this playbook this weekend. Zach Ertz at 3 that I'm just unclear about. I don't know how to feel about it. I like it, obviously. I feel better about it than a McLaurin at 6, but sheesh. 2 sounds a lot better than 3.
Yeah, for sure. And then, for like we said on Thursday, and we'll kind of reiterate here. Hopefully, if nothing, you're taking away kind of the strategy that we're looking for, the numbers and the promos that we're hitting. And then again, if you like different things, you like different teams, you have a different feel for the game based on just what you want to root for, what's interesting, go for it. And
Mhm.
those, obviously Vegas has the lines set, so you may have different information that you're using to make those bets, but the structure will be similar, and hopefully the results as well.
All right, sweet. And the last part of our promo playbook for Saturday that we want to dive into is from ESPN Bet. So we got up here on the screen the ESPN Bet MMA deposit bonus. Talked about this a bit in our last video. One thing ESPN's really good about offering, more so than other sports books, is the deposit bonuses. So as you can see here, Mike, $50 deposit, and you got to use code MMA50, and then you get a $10 bonus bet to use on any UFC 311 market.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I think that with that, we'll talk a little bit about what our strategy is. Obviously, you want to make sure you make a safe bet with that $50. You can't just put it in and take it out. Uh, Will went ahead and put it in yesterday, put it on a minus 8,000 NBA bet. I haven't done it yet, so I'm looking today. Right now, I'm kind of thinking about doing a DeAndre Hopkins minus 5,000 for 1 reception, but I'm gonna see if I can find anything that's even longer odds than that. But that's kind of where I'm leaning in. So once you make that bet, hopefully try to find the longest thing you can, get that $50 and however much cents back, take it out, and now you have that $10 to play with. We're kind of targeting some UFC action. I think it's a UFC requirement. We really like 3 legs, Jiri to win, Umar Nurmagomedov to win, and Islam to win. So those are the 3 legs we're targeting. And then we talked about those Caesars boosts earlier. We may, depending on how the day is looking at, put a small wager to get to a plus 400 parlay if the first leg or two of that hits on ESPN, we may dive back in and try to get a finish involved, or maybe try to do a little bit else just because we're big UFC fans. But that's totally up to you and kind of how your day is going in terms of success.
Yep. No, completely agree. Super excited for this card. I think that this play makes tons of sense. Essentially, we're getting a house money play here. Just be smart, like Mike said. I put it, we'll briefly show it here on the screen. I
Mm-hmm.
put it on what I call a lock. It was 5+ points for Porzingis last night. He ended it with
Mm-hmm.
like 26. I made like 63 cents and withdrew it immediately. Don't try to make a minus 200, minus 500 play here. Just
Mm-hmm.
get the longest odds you can find, withdraw, and play with the house money. So we got our house money play, the $10 bonus bet. Obviously, bonus bets, you don't get the return of the bet as if it was a regular bet, but I'm sure you all know that. That's why the potential payout here is $20 instead of 30.
Mm-hmm.
But I think $20 on a bet like this, we're really confident about Islam. We're pretty confident about Umar
Yeah.
and Yuri. That's a 50-50 fight. I'll take Yuri.
Yeah.
Um, Excited about that. If the first two legs hit for me, I'm going to ride into that Caesars 31% bonus at a plus 400. Probably try to pick like the round and the finish for Islam in the last fight. But yeah, super excited about the card. Super excited that we got a house money play to throw in our promo playbook.
Yeah, yeah. And last thing I think before we wrap up, I know we originally talked about making this video a little bit shorter. I don't know where we're at right now. It's a little bit shorter, I think, but still kind of close. Just a quick preview on tomorrow. We got the 50% same game parlay boost today on Bet365, so I'm going to anticipate something different tomorrow. I'm hopeful we'll get a regular 30% boost for our same game parlay. But I'm also hopeful, in addition to that, we'll get some kind of super boost for the later game.
Oh
So
yeah,
whatever that super boost is, for the most
I'm
part,
sure they will.
yeah, I'm gonna jump in on that. So I'm planning on going in $15 on the super boost, and if they do a same game parlay, $10 or $15 on that as well. So I'm setting $30 aside for tomorrow, potentially, if those two things happen, and that's gonna kind of be
Mhm.
the centerpiece of my strategy for tomorrow. It'll
Yep.
be centered around.
We're planning to do another video tomorrow morning, recap
Mhm.
how we did today, and share with you the new promotions that we see tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right. Well, good luck today, guys. Hopefully, you guys found this information helpful. Feel free to ride with us on these bets. We're looking forward to the games today. Again, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and please give us any feedback you got. We're still learning. Video number 2. We're excited to see the channel grow and hopefully make us all some money.
Yes, sir. Thanks for stopping by.